Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. What this amendment would do would prohibit those that have been convicted of sexual violence or sex crimes from being a recipient of this generous gift of loan forgiveness from the state of Washington. Madam Speaker, I think it's important to know that it would, and I think it might break your heart as well, Madam Speaker, to think that if the loan was up on the edge of running out of money, that somebody that raped or abused a child or raped or abused a woman would take precedence or have preferential treatment over those that survive sexual violence. Madam Speaker, that would break my heart, because we know that the life-altering and lifelong effects of sexual violence, the persons that survive it, is immeasurable. It is a life sentence. It is a life sentence of not understanding if you're going to be able to recover from, if you are, nightmares. It makes intimacy with other partners a big problem. I've talked about it on this House floor before. I worked on a lot of these crimes, sex crimes in Washington State, because I respect what my dear wife went through, and I talked about her on this House floor many times. And I'll tell you what, I think about her when I think about this amendment. I think about her and the struggles that she still has with it, and she sometimes will just say, just hold me. Just please hold me. I need somebody right now. And I lovingly do it. Because I know that what she survived is never going to go away fully.
Madam Speaker, when I was entertaining this amendment, I asked myself two questions. The first one was, are the group of people we're talking about that were discriminated against, that had barriers put up, that were not able to equitably access and create generational wealth because they were denied the rights that others had, is that group of people, do they disproportionately have more sexual offenders than any other group of people? And my answer was no. And Madam Speaker, I hope when you ask yourself that question, you realize that the answer is no. So putting this into this bill as if that group of people had a higher propensity to create sexual abuse than anybody else doesn't seem logical. The second one, Madam Speaker, is that I had to ask myself, isn't there a judicial process that already takes care of people that sexually offend, just like other criminal offenses? And the answer is yes. So that doesn't seem like this is part of the scope of this bill. We have a judicial process that takes care of that. Doesn't seem to apply disproportionately or in any other way to this bill. It just seems out of the scope, and I ask for a no vote.
Standing in proud support of the amendment and solidarity with my seatmate, I think it's impugning to try to question the motives of anyone on my side.
The Speaker would like to remind the member to please speak to the policy. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Sex offenses can happen from anybody. The point of the amendment is to make sure that what I am sure is the multitudes of very good, wholesome people who are just seeking a leg up in the Covenant Home Ownership Program, that they are prioritized before any potential person, whether it exists or not. If those people had committed sexual offenses, they have harmed and victimized society. They have harmed and victimized others in the most heinous ways if you've committed a sex offense. I want the good people who are just trying to escape systemic racism of the past in Washington State to get a leg up as a result of the Covenant Home Ownership Program. And I don't want them to take a back seat to somebody who committed a heinous crime like any kind of sex offense. Now, Madam Speaker, we already have housing for sex offenders in the state of Washington, but we would put them under the Covenant Home Ownership Program and then after 5 years forgive their loan? That's wrong. In the 35th District, Madam Speaker, as I'm sure most people have heard me talk about before, we have already had sexual predators dumped into our district, victimizing our neighbors and our communities, victimizing people who have been raped and sexually assaulted in their past. And it is an affront to me that we would accept forgiving a loan, gifting public funds, a handout from taxpayers directly to somebody who has committed the worst of the worst crimes. This amendment is well in order, and I urge the body to adopt it.
Further